Not that it matters very much to him, but I have to give Adam Sandler his dues. I suppose it's an excellent, non-controversial time to do so. Hating on Adam Sandler now is a bit like hating on your extended family for not getting you a present last Christmas. At best you end up looking like a little bitch, but back when he was inescapable, hell yeah you could hate on him. Especially because all of the usual arguments flung around by the Sandler apologists were true. It's not like Sandler could not act when he was pressed into doing so. But guess what? You don't mess with Soham Pace better than Reign Over Me. And no matter how much the latter is clearly the superior movie, it's the former that keeps the lights on. As ever, I'm biased. I was coming of age right around the time where his name commanded enough respect that he could just sell any movie he made to studios, usually paying for his friends' holidays in the process. I was also losing interest when that gravy train exploded in a giant pixelated mess. So these days, when he's just chilling around the edges of the spotlight and coming out every so often for a project, you see him for what I think he always wanted to be seen. Just a guy from Brooklyn. He got lucky enough to be one of the most famous people on the planet, and used it to travel the world with his friends and family. And when that came to an end, he just kept on doing what he could. He's the rarest of creatures. The man who got the most out of show business, and few of its drawbacks. The same cannot be said for Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider is Adam Sandler if Adam Sandler wasn't quite as hardworking or talented. They both started as writers for SNL at around the same time, and they both became on-screen talent and they both had some iconic characters. However, as they moved on from the show and took projects on the big screen, the differences in drive and talent started to become apparent really quickly. By 2001 they were obvious. There wasn't a Punch Drunk Love or a Big Daddy.
Hey yo!
Hell, not even a Happy Gilmore in Rob Schneider. You know what was there? The Animal. Now to be fair, Sandler's 2001 film was also not
Little Nicky.
particularly brilliant, but there are a couple of things salvageable from it. Not so much here. If you think Deuce Bigelow European Gigolo is the absolute pits, you're right, but I have it on good authority that it can keep a 12-year-old entertained, and this one fails even at that. The premise is as Happy Madison Productions as it can be. Schneider plays Marvin Mage, a lovable loser who works on the evidence locker at El Creton, California. Like every lovable loser in the 90s movie,
Well, he looks at me with those innocent eyes.
the entire fucking town of El Creton seems to be hell-bent on making his life miserable. From his landlady, to school children, to random old people on the street, to
Now, who wants to go for a ride with a real police officer?
Johnny C! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are once again blessed with his presence. I could review 7, but there's only so many ways that you can say this movie is really good and you should watch it. But yes, he has a dream. To be a real police officer just like his father. Unfortunately, he has two distinct disadvantages. First, he can't pass the physical.
Oh, okay, right.
Second, he's a fucking moron. No wonder he gets dunked on by his boss. Here's the tip. If there is only one bar in town and you know your asshole supervisor is going to be there, drink at home. So anyway, one day he gets left alone while the police force goes and reminds you they're living in California, and decided that he is the man to stop what sounds like an armed robbery with shots fired.
Can you just sit tight until I can reach somebody?
Hello? 211 in progress.
Actually, what am I saying? Him and this police force are perfect for one another. And then he dies. See, I told you that Schneider couldn't write a movie. Mercifully at 15 minutes, it's a short trip that the fuck is still alive. I guess we'll get to see more of.
But this is the longest one I've ever seen. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving too.
That wasn't so bad.
Naturally. I've been told that we don't have Schneider to fully blame for this one. He wrote in collaboration with Tom Brady. No, not that one. A writer whose other big credits are another Schneider movie, and an Amazon documentary about that one-time Tom Brady, yes that one, bought 3% of a Birmingham soccer team, chaired the board and did PR for them. I don't want to say they hired him because of his name, but unfortunately the plot isn't done with us as a mad scientist takes the corpse of our hope and rebuilds him. Better than he was before, stronger, faster. It does take him a week to do so, but to be fair, he was working with Rob Schneider as a base. And evidently some concessions had to be made for this fact. And of course he sniffed someone's ass, because, hey, why wouldn't you? Why don't you just rummage in there while you're at there we go. Now we just need a gay stereotype.
I hope he's on our flight.
Well, I was the one that found you. I put you back together. You see, I released you to see if you could function normally in society, but...
Well, taking into account your starting point and that molesting someone in an airport is all you need to become a full-fledged member of Elkerton PD, I'd say that the experiment was a huge success for this universe's definition of normal.
You're crazy. I'm not going anywhere with you.
Okay, this one is pretty funny.
Most of the animals I used were abandoned by a Mexican circus or came from the private zoo of a famous pop star.
God damn it, this is occasionally funny. Come on, I need to think of something rude. Look, clearly you have a lot of money if you had the human enclosure ready. Go public with this shit. Everyone in this town is clearly operating on some level of oxygen deprivation. You think they'll question how you make it? You know who will? Medical professionals kicking the door in to figure out how you brought a man back from the brink of death with a random collection of animal parts. All of his faculties remain, some of them have been improved. Okay, there's some side effects, but you know what there isn't? Scar tissue, body rejection, instant death. For this shit to work, there had to be a whole pyramid of development, making him, rather surprisingly, the greatest medical researcher who ever lived. The name of Dr. Wilder would be in every medical textbook from here till the end of fucking time, and this cockbrain decides kidnapping a newly minted hero police officer is the best course of action. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit too much into, as evidenced by what happens when he sees a hot woman walking down the street. And once again, Johnny C is too good for this.
There are a lot of animals in here.
Yeah, I know. It's a little crowded. I just don't have the heart to turn any of them away.
I don't know about turning them away, but maybe report the guy who brought in the cobra to the pub. No, don't bother. They're useless even when they are actually trying to get their guy. Bro literally wants Marvin out of the police force. He's just seen him running out of the scene of a crime. Oh, and by the way, great work responding to that by just sitting outside doing nothing. He sees him running away and then doesn't chase him.
I don't know how you got to the butcher shop break-in before I did.
Motherfucker, did you see him chasing a suspect? He was running out of there with most of the evidence concealed in his fucking belly.
Midge, now this is the mayor's annual charity event. I want you to keep a low profile, got it?
Oh, here we go. He's bringing him to a fancy social event. I hope there aren't any animals in there.
It's a furball.
And once again, we're near the end of the plot, but unfortunately Pipsqueak there nearly drowns, causing Marvin to use his dolphin-like powers to save him. See, scenes like this are why I'm glossing over the romance subplot of the film. Jesus Christ, this 1 hour movie is 9.5 years long.
That was Bob Harris. Last night, a couple of his cows got all torn up. Bob got a look at a man running away from the scene. We made a composite. I'm going to have to ask you to go on paid leave.
Oh, this is what it takes to get kicked out of the department. So the Roman subplot actually comes into play here when he tells Bechtel here all about his issue. She's really cool with it, which makes the animal shelter make a lot more sense. Though maybe the chemicals making everyone in this town dumb have started to wear off, because even the police chief was able to link this to him. And when it happens again, he sends the entire force in the town after him.
Any questions?
Oh, yeah, I got a question there.
I made a terrible mistake.
There's something else out here.
It was the same experimental procedure as yours.
This is why you secure facilities and funding after the first fuck it. Who did you fuck up anyway? Holy shit, yes, this is awesome. Oh no. No! Yes! And you think a car crash will stop this man? King Kong has nothing on him. Oh. Oh no. No, Johnny, this doesn't end well for you. This is where you should be teaming up with him and killing everyone who dares to stop you. But if you do this, you'll get mauled. So in comes the big reveal, which actually threw me for a loop because I stopped thinking about this movie the second I saw the fucking poster. She's the real killer.
So that's why you have 6 nipples.
Wait, no, movie. You don't get to play the happy ending music right now. I know there's just 9 minutes out of your 79-minute runtime left, but we have enough loose ends on this thing to... I know I've used this joke in this script a couple of times, but this movie makes it so easy.
You can do it! Cut his freaking balls off!
No, it's not worth it. But to get out of this, we're going to need a Mondo loophole.
All right! I am the beast!
I was not expecting that, were you?
I'm not going to be part of a mob to kill a black guy, I'll tell you that.
So, anyone want to make jokes about that in 2026?
Winning this Nobel Prize truly validates a lifetime of hard work.
Oh, hey, he did go public with it and he got a Nobel Prize. Well, that's an awful lot of problems for humanity solved. Johnny C is still fucking dead though. There's really no end to the possibilities when it comes to picking apart this movie. That script was a half hour at best, and no matter how many sex jokes they put in it, those 79 minutes feel eternally long. The plot demands everyone be a complete idiot into the final 10 minutes. Make no mistake, if you had to see a movie on the month this one was released... But here's the thing. It made back its budget, which means, despite getting utterly roasted by the critics, it can be considered a success. Other lead roles would follow this pattern, but not nearly to the same extent that his besties did. So, little by little, his career evolved appropriately. These days, unless the rumors of a sequel to this thing are true, he'll have a lot of time on his hands. All in all, not a bad return for pretending to bang a mailbox.